Ho, ho, ho. Whoa. Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. I'm just waiting a minute for this to go live, and then I will jump uh, Instagram as well. Yep. Now, I doubt many people are here, and that's fine. This is sort of something just spur of the moment. I finished everything I needed to do to get ready for Christmas. And, I was like, "What would be fun right now? I guess I could watch some TV. I'm pretty much up to date on reading my comics. I've done some good work towards the next comic tropes. I'll do a live stream. Why not? Why not?" Yeah, nothing special, just felt like, jumping, in and drawing from scratch. I don't have any real plans or anything, but, few folks are in here. I'll just give some shout outs and thank you. Yes, it's a Christmas miracle. Hello, the Beowulf. I like the snowman emoji from Octung Baby Blog. Hello, yes, a double salute. Why not? A Christmassy double salute to Daryl. Hello, Amen. Merry Christmas from Thailand. Normally I'm in South Korea. Well, that sounds awesome. I hope you're having a good time. I bet you have nice warm weather compared to most of us over here in the Pacific Northwest of America. Hello, Mark Ashley. And who else? We've got Xavier the Aces and Brandon Cash. Lovely. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, totally fine. Just felt like drawing. In fact, I'm going to take this off because it's surprisingly warm. um, could wear that, but I've already got the Christmas sweater. It's like how much Christmas do you need thrown in your face, right? Um, 65 here. The ties are freezing. Yes, well, 65 sounds pretty nice. Um, Hello, Travis Miller, and hello, Delayed Thinking. Let's see, and wow, we got a lot of people actually jumping in on Instagram. Rolstad Dustin says, "How about a shout out to the Instagram audience?" Yes, I shout you out. Thank you for jumping in. And hello, Tario Way artist over there, Johnny Filoni from Brazil. Wow, cool. Hello, hello, all of you. Um, the software that I use to stream to multiple places at once, just to be clear, does not pull in the comments from Instagram. So I've sort of got two separate windows going on that. I just every once in a while can try to duck in. But yeah, let's see. Let me add a camera here, and we'll do some drawing. Does it look better like this? Pretty zoomed in, but yeah, that should work. The Wintery. I think I'll work. Yeah, I think I'll work landscape style. So I got a little mechanical pencil here. Don't have any specific ideas yet. Let me zoom out just a little bit, actually. And yeah, that captures it a little better. And I might have to move my microphone every once in a while. But yeah, happy holidays, everybody. Lovely to see so many folks here. What would be Christmas Day? I can't really think of any superheroes that are inherently tied to Christmas, but you know what I've got? I've got an idea. Hold on. Let's um let's do Batman chasing Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze, right? That's kind of Christmassy. Um yeah, we'll have Mr. Freeze trying to run away from Batman, and I'm gonna say he's not gonna have much luck. Let me block some stuff out here. Gonna try to work as fast as I can so that we're not we're not wasting any time. But if I get quiet or anything like that, it's really just because 'cause I'm looking at the paper. Wow, a super chat. Merry Christmas. Thank you for the great content. Jay Smooth, thank you so much for the generous super chat. That makes my night. I appreciate it. Um, all right, we'll have something dramatic happen here, I think. Otherwise, what's the point? Um, let's see. And we'll have Batman right behind him. The Dark Knight, right? I'm thinking this through. Yeah, I'm gonna have him throwing a batarang and breaking part of Mr. Freeze's costume. I think that should work. I don't. hmm, I'm obviously not like a professional artist, so some of this may go a lot slower than say if you tune into a live stream by a guy like Daniel Warren Johnson. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. My best is just have lower expectations is all I'm saying. Great idea for Batman, that's kind. Merry Christmas, thank you. Ooh, I like that, yeah. Is this a test? It's a test of my abilities. I would say that's about it. I'm just sort of blocking some stuff out here, and then we'll go from there. I'll probably give Mr. Freeze a fairly simplified outfit, more along the lines of, what do you call it? More along the lines of the animated series or something like that. And I'll probably bust out my inks in just a moment and try to be brave. Take it from there. So if I'm a little quieter, it's just because I'm drawing, folks. But if you have questions or anything, tell you what, like go ahead and treat this like an AMA, something like that, and I'll do as much as I can to answer your questions. Synergy Comic on let's see, Instagram says I have to tell you, I legit love the Nightcat episode you made me really want that book. If I see it at a show, I'm totally buying it thanks to you. Well, that's cool, that's cool. Early Jimmy Palmiotti inks, as I recall. Is there a Mr. Cold in any comics? Mr. Cold? There's Captain Cold, there's Mr. Freeze, there's Killer Frost, there's Iceman. There's lots of people with cold-based powers. Sorry, I'm amusing myself with what I'm doing. Let's see. Make sure you leave out some Elmer's and household chemicals for when Paste Pot Pete comes to your house tonight. Paste Pot Pete does owe me a lot. Hello, Euros. Jack Frost. Yes, Jack Frost is a character in comics, right? Who do you think is the best Iron Man counterpart? Cobalt Man, maybe Titanium Man? Yeah, there's also, let's see, some of his, best sort of, like, armored enemies, you're saying? Um, there's Crimson Dynamo is pretty darn good. Firepower. I guess I honestly think, though, in terms of, like, where the stories have gone, it would either be Mandarin or Justin Hammer that tend to get, like, the best stories against Iron Man. We'll see. This Christmas Eve, putting an air tag in the cookies so I can find Santa's secret workshop. Brilliant, but he may think about that. Um, Guardian in the green armor, is that, like, sort of based off of the armor, used by the folks that guard, oh, what's the name of that prison in Marvel Comics before the Raft? The Vault. Are you talking about, like, the that? I don't know. Melter, right. What's for dinner? Haven't thought that far ahead yet. Iron Man's arch nemesis should be Wood Lady, yes. I created a superhero as a kid named Ice Laser. Very fun. Alright. Alright, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make sense of, my sketch or not, but I also don't wanna spend too much time. I wanna try to retain some energy to this, so, let's see what happens here. And a batarang of some sort. I don't know if I drew that right, but you know what? I'm just gonna keep moving. I'm gonna try to work faster than typical and just see what happens. It might end up as a mess. It might just to set expectations. I really don't know, but I'd like to see if there's anything I could do this year to become a bit of a faster and more confident artist and just accept some of my flaws. I don't know if I can do that. I tend to really rely reference, I admit, and I would love to see if I can make some changes and become a little and a little energy. We'll see, we'll see. Did I manage to fix the previous drawing to my liking? I didn't even touch it. Miro talked about I was drawing a, RoboCop, and I tried to do some chrome effects, and I really hated what I came up with. So I just abandoned that one. It was just meant to learn from, and, I think I learned a few things that I wouldn't do if I tried. But good question, actually. Yeah. Appreciate it. Um, tell you what, you guys tell me a few things. Like, what are you having for dinner for the holidays? I'd love to hear if anybody has anything, um, unique that they either make or having made for them, like a tradition or anything like that. Love hearing about stuff like that. So I know we do a prime rib, popovers. If you haven't had those before, delightful, super light, flaky biscuits or something. They're great. Twice baked potatoes, roasted carrots, some sort of like cheesy rice. I don't know. It's gonna be good. Lobster. Wow. That's pretty fancy. Mm, wow. Sorry, wait, there's a good question here. Hello, Semrix. Um, Christmas pudding is not really a thing here. No. You can get it, of course. I mean, people know about it, but I would not call that a popular well-known dessert other than, like, we may have heard about it in, like, you know, an adaptation of the Christmas Carol. Um, yeah, not really something unless anybody thinks I'm wrong, like, tell me, like, do you have Christmas pudding as, like, a common sort of Christmas dessert? I definitely don't. Yeah, I don't feel like that's a super common thing in America. Let's see, what other questions do we have? A Godfather marathon running every year in the background. That's fun. Boy, those are fantastic movies. We have sarma, traditional dinner of cabbage rolls filled with minced meat and onions. That sounds delicious. That sounds sincerely fantastic. I would love to try that. I don't think I've had that exact thing, but I like all those ingredients. Um, I steamed one for 10 hours. A Christmas pudding, also reading A Christmas Carol while listening. That's beautiful. That sounds really, really nice. That sounds awesome. It's also a tradition to put 50 pence in the pudding. I definitely didn't know that. That's news to me. I made musakan, a Palestinian sumac roast chicken with onions and flatbread. Oh, that also sounds really good. Wow. Oh, my favorite Doctor Who Christmas special. That's a fun challenge. Let me think for a second. What would be my favorite of the Doctor Who specials? No, you know which one it was? It was the one that's a little bit of a riff on A Christmas Carol, where the doctor goes back in time to, like, really convince this Ebenezer Scrooge-like character to be a better person by just influencing, some of his life events. He goes back into this old cranky man's, past, so that he can, like, sort of influence him to become a better person. It's quite beautiful. Michael Gambon, I don't remember the name of that special, but it was really fun, really good. That was, a let me think this through. I think that was an 11th Dr. Matt Smith. Um, we do a pork roast with crispy skin, caramelized potatoes, and red wine sauce. For dessert, we have cold rice pudding with warm cherry sauce. Oh my god, that sounds fantastic. Ah, these all sound so good. I've made Christmas pudding with dried cherries. I also made from an abandoned orchard I found, just not this year. Let me zoom in just a little, like, I just realized you guys aren't really seeing what I'm drawing, and I'll try to speed it up. It is called A Christmas Carol? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate that. I thought so. It's been a few years since that one came out, so, don't really remember. That was probably my favorite. I've enjoyed most of the Doctor Who Christmas specials. Oh, yeah, we get a new one tomorrow, don't we? Oh, that'll be fun. I forgot about that until just this minute. I'm a fan of Doctor Who. I will definitely cop to that. So, if you're not or something, I understand. It can seem overwhelming if you haven't gotten into it before, but Doctor Who's great, and there's anytime there's a new Doctor, it's a great jumping on point. And I say new Doctor, if you haven't watched it, the Doctor is technically an alien who he looks, human, and he can regenerate or become a new person, but with his old memories and experiences. Yeah, it's always like like sort of a fresh writing crew and a fresh character. It just can use past continuity if they want to. It's a great premise in that regard. It's really impressive. It's kind of a genius premise, really. Let's see. I wish Grant Morrison and Dan Mora made more Klaus comics. Sure. Boy, Dan Mora is though blowing up. Um, I definitely grew up being a bit more of a Marvel fan, although I've always loved DC Comics and DC Comics characters, but I did grow up a bit more of a DC fan. That said, right now, I sincerely think DC overall has the better talent for artists. Just guys like Daniel Sampier and Dan Mora. Watch them get Daniel Warren Johnson. Just have all the Dans. It's really impressive. I'd say it's more like every second Doctor is a starting point, and the others have to carry the lore of the previous Doctor as well. Maybe. I mean, but in general, a new Doctor is generally a good starting point. It depends on if the previous sort of showrunner stayed on or not, which sometimes they have. A lot of times, it has changed up. That's all. Marvel had X-Men and Spidey, which was all I was interested in as a kid outside of TMNT. I'm assuming you grew up in like the '90s hearing all of that, so that's cool. Sup Comic Pop says Matthias SR26. Well, I'm not Comic Pop, but I do love Sal and his team. What's my favorite Santa appearance in comics? That's kind of a tough one. Let me think for a moment. What would be my favorite Santa appearance in comics? Ooh, you have really challenged me with that one. Um, hmm. I feel bad. Honestly, right now, nothing's coming to my mind. I'll have to come back. I In the '90s, Marvel and DC tended to put out some really fun Christmas specials that would have like just short little stories with their characters, and there was some really cool stuff to be found there. But right now, I'm just not remembering anything too well. I hope this doesn't look too rough or stupid to everybody. I want to still do something good, even if I'm trying to go faster. It's tough. but I'm having fun. Thanks for joining me on this Christmas Eve. I'm sure everybody has stuff that they need to do or something, or could be doing for fun. And even if whether you're working or on vacation, thanks for spending some time with me. It's really nice of you. Yes, yes, you demand only the highest quality. Let's see. Merry Christmas, Christopher DeRose. Nice name. Common Rider is easy to get into because each and every season is its own series. Okay. I've tried a little Common Rider. I've never quite got into it in a big way. I think, as far as sort of the, Japanese tokusatsu genre, I think I like, Ultraman a little more, but I tend to like big monsters, that's all. I do like a lot of the Common Rider designs for the hero. That part is super cool. That's cool. Batman Returns is absolutely a Christmas movie. I mean, so much of it is thematically tied into how people feel during the holidays, no question. A Krampus Ghost Rider fusion. That's not bad, although another idea is Ghost Rider could always use a few more visually distinct supernatural enemies. Maybe Krampus should be some sort of a Marvel villain, or at least somebody that uses that idea as their design. That could be interesting. Oh, yeah, I've definitely done digital art. I love drawing on a tablet. I would just say that I have ever since I started doing, like, YouTube, I feel that I have less time to draw than I used to. I used to draw more often. Um, so yeah, and I used to draw a lot of it digitally, to be honest. I would probably, like, map stuff out with a pencil and paper, and then I would, like, sort of, scan that and clean it up and tend to do a lot of my finished art digitally. So, if you were to go back and get for instance, I do have a few comics or things that I've done in comics that are out there. There's some educational comics. Trickster is an anthology written by Native American tribe members, and I illustrated a story in that. Colonial Comics, there's 2 volumes of that, and I did stories in those. Those are things where I originally drew it in, like, pencil and paper, but then sort of, like, scanned it in and ultimately drew it all with my Wacom tablet, or Wacom, I think is how it's pronounced. Merry Christmas, Tom. What hero has the most underrated rogues gallery? I'd argue Green Lantern or Aquaman. I mean, Green Lantern has a few memorable enemies. I feel like Aquaman only really has, like, 2. He's got Black Manta and he's got Ocean Master, and after that, I'm just not super into his, enemies. You've got Scarlet by Bendis and Malieve on your wish list? Good luck, good luck. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. T Price Artwork says, "Do you have any cons you're planning to go to in 2024?" That's a good question. I haven't, like, got tickets to anything yet. I'll probably go to New York Comic Con because I like to go to that one as also an excuse to see my best friend from college who lives in New York, and we both like comics, so it's just something we've always done, since the first one. So I'm very likely to go to that. I mean, I'm positive I'll go to the ones that are in my backyard, like Emerald City Comic Con. I mean, it's right here. I really would love to try San Diego Comic Con, but those are like it's so hard to get the tickets and in the hotel and everything like that. So I don't know. Come to Seoul PopCon in August. Oh my god, that would make me so happy. I would love to visit South Korea, but I mean, I I love doing YouTube, folks. It is not making me wealthy, so, like, visiting, I love traveling too. Like, Chrissy and I try to save up. We don't have kids, so, like, we do a good amount of traveling, but I can't travel as much as I want to. There's so many places I'd love to go. I'd love to go to the Lake Como Art Festival. I'd love to go to France's Angoulême. I'd love to go to CCXP in Sao Paulo, Brazil. These are all conventions I'd love to go to. As many times as I've been to, Japan, I've actually never gone to a comic convention there, which I think I'd like to now. Oh, yeah. I saw Godzilla minus one. It's fantastic. Just a great film. Not just a great Godzilla film, it's a great movie. Great movie. What character do you think deserves a Christmas story that hasn't got one? I don't know. Let me think for a moment. That's an interesting question. What character hasn't necessarily got a Christmas story that could use one? Has I think of a lot of, like, the street level heroes first. So, like, Punisher and Moon Knight, and maybe they have had a good one. I can't think of a memorable one off the top of my head, but maybe, like, I like sort of the I like the sort of gritty characters sort of, showing more compassion than they typically do because of, the Christmas spirit reaches them or something. Um, I'm not a very religious guy. I'm not, if I'm being honest, but, um, I do love Christmas. I love the holiday. I think that people try to treat each other a little better. I really, you know, I in general, I think that there's a lot of nice goodness and stuff that can come out of the Christmas season, and, I like that. I like the music, I like the food, I like the lights, maybe it's just nostalgia. Obviously, if I do a comic book channel, nostalgia's probably, like, affects me pretty strongly, right? I mean, it's something that I loved when I was younger that I've, like, stayed really passionate about. So, nostalgia's a big thing for me, but, yeah, I love the Christmas season, just love it. I feel like a real sap tonight, but that's okay. I think you guys will forgive me. That's what I think. We'll answer some more questions. How many times have you been to Japan? It's either 5 or 6. I know that that's a low number, so I should be able to remember. I'm just trying to think. Think it's 6? I think it's 6. I've been watching Monarch. I wish it was just that show. I wish it was all just the stuff set in the 1950s. The modern day, like, kids, I don't find very engaging. Favorite Christmas films? Um, It's a Wonderful Life, probably my favorite. I like Elf. I mean, there's all sorts of movies that are set at Christmas that are technically Christmas movies and that I like, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon. Now that I think of it, almost anything by Shane Black, right? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, uh, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Iron Man 3. Wow, he likes Christmas. Um, Gremlins. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wanna support the Patriots, but boy, is it a bad season. I saw the movie Krampus, and it was not bad, but I wish it was either scarier or funnier. I feel like it split the difference and didn't go too far in either direction. Found volume 1 of 52 in my garage. Such a good event with lesser known heroes. Will you consider an episode covering it? Didn't I basically? I I I've come around a little bit on, like, my initial opinion, where I I don't feel that editorially there was that New 52 was thought out very well, but and so it fell off kinda fast, but, initially, it did help a lot of retailers and stuff, so I've started to sort of, like, feel like I didn't I didn't cover everything perfectly when I made that episode. I wish I'd covered it a little bit more from the business point of view as well, because the first couple years of New 52 was good. It was just that there was no strong plan, so I feel it did fall apart. Yeah, complex feelings. Do, 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 do. You know what would be really cool for this? Oh, where's my I'm looking for my whiteout pen because I wanna drop, like, streaks of snow all over this. Yeah, it's not doing so well. I mean, I think that we can look at, any sort of big budget movie, and most of them don't do what, studios used to be able to count on because not as many people go to the movies anymore. I thought The Marvels was legit a really good movie. I thought that, something like Fast X wasn't necessarily, like, worse than what's come before, but those are movies that, like, didn't really do well. Barbie did well, Oppenheimer did well, so I'm glad for that. There are still some movies that will, like, catch on with people. I think it's movies that tend to be a little give people something just a little different, um, but, I mean, it's just a fact that these days, you just can't count on big blockbusters like you used to be able to. Do you recommend drawing your backgrounds first and leave them probably, like, if I was drawing this for, like, something published, I absolutely would have put in a perspective grid and, like, had pencil lines for, like, an alleyway here. That would have been, like, like, the smart thing to do, something, like, a little extreme like that. Um, other Yeah, you shouldn't, like but I'm just drawing for fun, and I'm trying to go fast. Let's see, considering you've covered 3 very different interpretations of Aquaman in your videos, what makes a good Aquaman story? Presumably not killing a baby. And I'm not against what they did there. To be clear, I didn't think that the actual issue was necessarily bad. I was disappointed that there was no follow-up to pay that off. Some people disagree, they think that that's a classic Aquaman story. I just felt that it could have been executed better with, a little more planning for why will we tell this story. Um, just my 2 cents. Uh, what makes a good Aquaman story? Balancing the fantastical um with something, like, grounded and relatable. That's tricky, but you deal with the same problems with a lot of fantastical heroes. Uh, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor. These are all characters that have a lot of fantastical elements in them, and so you need to sort of find something very relatable, um, within that fantasy. Thanks for another great year of comic content and entertainment. I hope I do better in, um in the following year. I really do. I'm gonna try, folks. Um, I would say, I've got a new show we're gonna try on this channel. Um, Jim Mahfood and I have been talking for a while, and we've got, I think, a fun idea. It's at least gonna be fun for us. Obviously, we want it to connect with, other people as well. I think it'll be we've got a show. It won't be like, a weekly show, I don't think, but we're gonna just try something a little different and fun that keeps us excited and engaged, and, we'll see, if people dig it. I hope so. I hope so. We will see. I'm gonna go with the sort of Bronze Age oval bat symbol. I don't know, just feel like it. And you know what? Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me. I do what I want. Does anybody want anything in particular for Christmas? Especially let me know if it's comic related. I'm always curious what kind of comic stuff is, appealing to folks out there. Uh, there's a few things I asked for comic related. We'll see what happens. The Mystery Jim Mahfood project. Hey! Hi, Jeannie. That's my sister. Merry Christmas Eve. I'll be calling you in several hours at this point, more than 12, but I'll be calling you tomorrow to check in. Um, I'm excited to talk to you tomorrow, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the pictures of your dog and all the Christmassy pictures. They're very good. You've done a great job with your photos this year. Probably not drawing. Probably not us drawing, but you never know. A PS5 with a Spider-Man bundle? Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's pretty awesome. Bear with me. Let me I was making sure that, my camera's plugged in. Thanks. Um, oops, let me close that. What's the most recent older comic? You mean like a back issue that I picked up, ChemDog? Yeah, let me make sure I understand the question properly. I think that's what you're asking. Oh, Grant Morrison's new X-Men Omnibus. Boy, that logo was fantastic. I wonder who did the logo for new X-Men. There's a term for that where, a graphic reads the same upside and down. Upside yeah, so it says, like, "New X-Men," and, like, if you flip that around, it looks the exact same. There's a term for that, and I can't think of what it's called right now. Back issue or trade. The newest thing that I picked up that's a back issue, I haven't picked one up lately, let me think. Hmm. I've probably slowed down just in case people wanna get me things for Christmas. Because now that I'm thinking of it, I can't think of a back issue or a trade or something like that that I got all that recently. Yeah, I'm sorry, I mean, unless you count digitally, like, just to make my recent Aquaman episode, buying those digitally, but I don't usually count that. Mm, you got Dazzler number 1. Yeah, huh, I'm thinking it through, and right now I just can't think of it. Did Grant potentially make the logo themselves? That's amazing. I did get the Nick Patera book, but I think ChemDog was asking about older, like, back issue type things, if I got anything like that. Um, but yeah, I did get the new Nick Patera book, Axe Wielder John. Looks really, really nice. Uh, Nick is a talented guy. I'm happy that his crowdfunded book went so well. Very excited to read that. I haven't read it yet this week. It was a big week for comics, to be honest. Now that I think of it, there are 2 or 3 comics I didn't finish, and that's one of them, but I'll probably read it tonight. Grant Morrison's a really good writer. Every once in a while, they write something that I don't feel like I totally comprehend what they were going for. Like Sea Guy. Sea Guy was one that I was like, "I don't quite get this." But, there's so many books and stories that I do love, Animal Man, We 3, X-Men, just so many good things. Yeah. Superman, Batman and Robin, that was really good. Merry Christmas. Let's see. Seeker 99 says, "What's your opinion on comic book movies that aren't superheroes?" Okay, like History of Violence and Road to Perdition. Um, yeah, there's a lot of, movies out there that people don't necessarily realize are based on comics. Uh, like, I don't know, Snowpiercer or Old, things like that that are like, because that's a French comic, so it doesn't really get talked up as much. And yeah, like, people don't always know that History of Violence, you know, is a comic book movie. I like it when it's, like, well done. Uh, there's a lot of interesting material out there to adapt. I'm trying to think if there's, like, one that people don't know that I would, have as a recommendation. It's not coming to me right now because I'm, like, thinking about too many things. It's an interesting question, though. I'll throw it out to you, like, what's a good comic book movie that isn't a superhero movie? A good comic book movie that isn't a superhero movie. Um, American Splendor. It's a really good movie about Harvey Picar's life. Um Right, yeah, the recent movie, The Killer, on, Netflix by David Fincher, that is based on a comic book. Thank you, Michael DeFonte. My friend actually made Sea Guy. It's supposed to be a fun, silly comic harkening to the Silver Age. Well, I guess I think I got that much. I didn't know if there was something else. I was just sort of, like, reading it going like, "Am I getting this right?" I don't know. Maybe I did. Uh, but thank you for the super chat. I'm so glad I got it. It looked fantastic. The animated movie Nimona was a comic book, yeah, I think a lot of people know that. Oh, yeah, Ghost World. I like Ghost World. Ghost World's pretty good. Invisibles, of course, good Grant Morrison book, no question, no question. Old Boy was a manga, yes. You know what? That might have been a book that then was a manga that then was a movie? I can't quite remember because what's that for instance, the Tom Cruise movie, the one where he, like, gets to keep reliving those few days against the aliens, that was technically a book that was then a manga that then was a, movie. Persepolis is good. Persepolis is good. That's true, yeah, there's some action movies out there like, that are technically based on a comic. Um, the Kickstarter one about the sea person? No, I'm talking about, Sea Guy was probably, like, early 2000s or something like that. Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. Technically, it was like a book, I think, and then a manga, and then the movie. The Popeye movie, yep, that someday I'll make an episode about Popeye, I think. Yeah, the Extraction movies, based on a what was it called? I think the comic was called Favela, if I'm remembering right. That was good. Those are 2 good movies too. The Extraction movies are good. That's a terrible tangent that I introduced here, so let me know where Batman's capable. I'm just destroying this pen. This'll literally, like, only last this show, and it'll never be useful again. I was thinking Undersea Hero, it's late here. Yeah, it's late here too, but thank you for the super chat. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind. You guys are listing a bunch of things that aren't yeah, like, Mystery Men was superhero, though. V for Vendetta but I think that a lot of people know that these are comics too, and, like, Tintin, not a superhero, V for Vendetta, not a superhero, but people do know that it's, a comic. I'm trying to think of ones that are, like, both based on a comic and people don't necessarily know that they're a comic. Is this stream in place the one that usually happens later? It's a bit confusing as I'm on British time, it's 2:43, here. No, Joe Dent is asking, I do a weekly show here, talking about the news, the latest comics. So this is separate from that. This is just an impromptu drawing live stream. I am not going to do a show at my usual time, which is usually tomorrow at 5 PM my time, Pacific. But it's Christmas. I don't think many people would watch. I'm gonna have family over. I don't want it. So I'm bumping up my show. I should put up a, placeholder, like, thumbnail or something with what time. I'm gonna do it on Tuesday at 5. I usually do it Monday at 5. I'm gonna do it Tuesday at 5. World According to Garp, yup. Red was based on a comic, true, yup, very cool. Let's see. I want to get Axe Wielder John, but the campaign is over, so I have no clue where to buy one. Well, yeah, that's the thing with crowdfunded comics. I mean, you're probably gonna have to wait and see if it's, like, offered again at some point. But here's my suggestion, if you really do wanna read it, is, was there was a retailer option, and, I saw that Nick sold a bunch to retailers, so it's probably worth calling some comic shops in your area to see if they have it in stock, 'cause there's a chance that they may have bought, like, like 5 copies, like, the retailer bundle. Um, there's only so many shops, there's a chance that one of the ones in your area could have bought that bundle. Yeah, sure, that sort of counts, yeah. Road to Perdition, yeah, that's what we started with. Yep. Good fun challenge, fun trivia challenge. Um, get that back. Let me, I'm gonna go back to my pencil for a minute because I feel like I don't quite have this mapped out very well. Let's see, we're gonna put that there, bicep and this. Want a little bit of a curve here. Hmm. I, f- I feel stupid. I'm trying to think. When you throw something, do I literally? I have to stand and think this through. I'm gonna throw. So I have this leg going back. Jesus. Come on, Chris, get it together. Wow. Um, Here's some questions. Sorry. Let's see. Have I read Astro City or Aerosmith by Kurt Busiek? I've read some of Astro City. That's one that I'd love to read the whole thing of. Aerosmith, I haven't actually read. Atomic Blonde. Good call. Good call. Have the family on the show. Cut the camera if it gets rowdy. No, I don't want to do that. It's a fun idea, though. Hey, I just dropped into Instagram, and I don't know if he's still there, but it looks like my friend Zach jumped in for a second. Zach, I hope you have a fantastic Christmas Day with your family. Thanks for being such a good friend in 2023. You really help make work a lot more fun and interesting. You're a good person, and I hope your test last night went well. Let's see. Um, People ask me what my favorite Christmas movie was, but let's flip it around. What are some of your favorite Christmas hold on, songs? Hey, thank you for the super chat. Just stopping by real quick to wish you happy holidays. Thanks, Hulkzilla. Happy happy holidays to you and your family and friends as well. Thank you. Do you have any more round tables like you did for Invincible planned? Good question. I don't have any planned, but it is something I think I'd really enjoy doing. If I did, I'd probably just like reach out first to other comic book YouTubers, potentially podcasters. There are a few people that I think I would like to hear their opinions on things. So I would like to do those. Um, and I'd always be down for talking to uh, Comic Drake or Godzilla Mendoza, but there's so many YouTubers out there that are covering comics that I really do respect, and it would be really interesting to talk to them. A lot of people have told me how much they love Casually Comics. I would love to chat with her about comics if she was ever up for something like that. Uh, Always down for talking to the boys on Cartoonist Kayfabe. Um, uh, Owen likes comics, Matt Draper. Those are 2 guys that I really respect. Glad that I know them. Uh, yeah, so I would potentially do some more of that. I don't know. I have no plans. I have no plans, but it was an interesting way to approach things, and, yeah, I would potentially do it again. I would love to talk about, the latest, Scott Pilgrim anime and how that compares to the original comics. I think that that would be something that could make for an interesting roundtable. So I'd have to, like, look around and see if there's people that feel that they're, knowledgeable about Brian Lee O'Malley's work. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Sasha's great. You can always, I guess, lure her in with Silver Age shenanigans. Well, I have to I'm so I hope I'm getting this right. I'm pretty sure Sasha is Casually Comics. I am not really an expert on her channel. I've watched a little bit. I think that I've got that right. I liked what I saw. It seemed like she really knows her stuff, and I always love to talk about people that know comics and are passionate about comics, so I think I've got that right. I hope I do. If you're talking about somebody else, please correct me quickly, and we'll take it from there. What else to talk about? What else to talk about? Sorry, I guess I have had a busy day, just sort of, getting ready for the holidays, doing some last minute shopping, making sure that we have the right groceries and stuff like that. Um, Thank you folks for making thank you. Okay. Sasha Wood is Casually Comics. Sasha Wood. Got it. Got it. I wasn't sure about that. Thank you very much. She has a Lois Lane Gets Married playlist. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh my god, that is so funny because, my god, I've definitely, come across so many covers of Superman just being an absolute jerk to Lois Lane, where she just wants to marry Superman. Oh, so many good things. I was having a good time reading Brian Lee O'Malley's Snot Girl a few months ago until I realized it was a mystery that was never finished. I don't know about that. Let's see. Miracle Man makes Berserk look like Naruto. I don't even know what that means. Hmm, okay. As in Miracle Man is that dark? Yes. Super Dickory is exactly what I was about to, get to. Thank you so much for that was a really I don't know if it's still up, to be honest, but there was a site back when, like, before there was really any true social media stuff. There was a website called Super Dickory, and it was just this guy finding hilarious golden age and silver age panels and covers of Superman apparently acting like an absolute jerk. Um, Lots of misleading covers, at one point. You're like, "What?" But Superman would never do that, except there were so many covers like that, probably started to get the idea that maybe Superman was just that bad. Whoa! Thank you so much, Jeremy. Wow. M Thank you. That's so nice. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh my god, Kid Miracle Man is just one of the darkest things, but you know what? There's a lot of payoff to it. I think that that was a great story, honestly. Oh, good. Super Dickory website is still up. I haven't looked for that in, like, literally probably over a decade, but that makes my heart feel good to know that it's still up because it was just a hilarious collection. And there's this aggregate feeling of like, "Wait, Superman doesn't seem like such a good guy when there's so much of it." Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. You've made my Christmas. Thank you. It's a cool murder mystery based in the fashion blogging world. Twisty and funny, took a hiatus. Uh, yeah, I would imagine it comes back. I think that Brian Lee O'Malley seems to really love making comics, so he probably just took time off when he was making the anime. I did hear about that. I like the Scream franchise overall. I like it. Um, some are better than others, but boy, it is just so depressing seeing that the 7th movie just fall apart. They lost both of their leads, and now the director has left, and it was a director I actually like. Ugh. Berserk is dark. It's so dark, but you know what? It's one of my all-time favorite comics/manga. Love it. It does pay off. It does pay off. Um, Jeremy, let's see. I've been watching your old videos recently, and it has helped me get through things. I appreciate it. Well, that's nice to hear. I'm not a guy that, like, has a lot of free time to, like, look at my own stuff, so I've been thinking about it lately. I'm like, has the show evolved and changed? And I'd like to think that it's gotten better, but I really can't quite remember how I used to do things even. I'm like, I'm going I know there was a time when I would just post little tropes on the wall, and I've sort of phased that out over time, but, I can't really think of exactly if I've changed. I will say, I've been thinking to myself, I really wanna try to make a commitment to making better episodes in 2024. Not necessarily more, 'cause more and better is just how am I gonna put that both together? But I'd like to think that I could, I'd like to put to put out better episodes. We will see. We will see. I need to bring back the Post-its. Never say never. Never say never. Could do a stream where you watch bits of your old comic tropes and give some director commentary. Yeah, that's not a bad idea in a way. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I will. Your videos are informative. You're open to discussion. I am. I'm willing to. I'm willing to say that I could be flat out wrong with some of my opinions or analysis. Um, Especially as time goes on. I would say that like the new 52 is one that I'm like, hmm, my opinions have changed a little in terms of like the business analysis on that one. Uh, maybe I was too harsh on it, but who knows? It when you're doing opinion based stuff, I mean, people change. So yeah, like my opinions are going to change a little bit, but I still love a lot of what I love. And that is part of why my channel primarily focuses on things that I really like. I'll try to like critique things as much as I'm able, but there's a lot of good stuff out there, or at least good on some level that I want to talk about. It's not like it's all perfect, but there might be an element of it that I really admire, whether that's the structure or the just like the dynamic art or the pacing, or something like that. Whoops, just knocked over something. Hold on. So I try to talk about stuff that I like mostly, but it can't all be positive. So that's why sometimes, I'm gonna talk about something maybe goofy or something that I don't think came out well. The Batman mech piloted by Jim Gordon is a pretty poor idea. Well, I don't know that anything is ever necessarily a bad idea. I mean, there could be. But story-wise, I think a lot of it will depend on the execution. If you can nail, like, the tone and have a good reason for doing something, you can do some pretty crazy stuff in comics is all I'm saying. It can be pretty versatile, it can be pretty flexible. Not gonna work for everybody, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad idea. I mean, there are bad ideas, there are. I'm just saying that, like, a lot of it can be done well. People demand Infotron in full CGI and voiced by Chris Pratt. That is something that's happening in my 2024 episodes, to be clear. Yes, I've hired Chris Pratt on full time, and the Corridor Crew. You probably know their YouTube channel. Corridor Crew will be fully CGI animated Infotron in every episode on a weekly basis. Can you believe it? Yeah. I do like drawing some mechanical stuff, but I have to plan that out so much more. This pen has just about had it. Um, what other, YouTube stuff do you guys watch? YouTube specifically, and it doesn't have to be comic book related. I'm curious, like, what other channels, are ones where you're like, "Oh, cool," like, new content by somebody or other? I would say the things that I always, like, watch no matter what. I'll always watch Red Letter Media. Not that I agree with them 100% of the time, but they usually do make me laugh, find some good insight here and there. I really like, what else do I like? I like Corridor Crew, I just mentioned them. Yo! Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. You like watching speed running Zelda games. YMS. Is that your movie Sucks? I've seen a little bit of that guy. I think that's who you're talking about. I'm pretty sure I've got that right. How many Black Pens have been murdered by Mike Mignola over the years? Probably 2 a day. Ashley Burton's movie reactions. Don't know that one. I'll keep it in mind. I watch many Japan-based YouTube channels. I like Chris Broads a lot, and I watch a few others. Sometimes I'll watch Paolo in Tokyo. Yeah, there's some good ones. Dubas Goobas. Haven't heard of that. World Record Podcast? Know that. These are new to me. These are new. Off the Shelf Reviews. These are all new to me. Wow. Just shows how big this is. It's just so many people. So many channels, I mean. Drawfee consistently makes me laugh. Don't know that one. Do I like Chris Stuckman? Oh, he does the movie reviews, right? I don't dislike him. I wouldn't say that I watch him with any regularity, to be clear. Lo-Fi Girl? It that's just the lo-fi, streaming station, right? I think I did that one. I think I know that. I like watching a channel by a young man named The Beast, who's working his way weekly through completing every N64 game. Oh my god, that's a good hook. That's ambitious. There's some good ones in there, though. Cat videos, love cat videos. Don't know Just for Laughs gags. That one. She's Gallifrey Gals? I mean, I can guess what some of these are about, but, Skunk Ape. Yes, the original name for my channel when I had no idea. Skunk Ape had good Lego clips. Wonder whatever happened to that guy. Yeah, definitely, privated or deleted a lot of the sort of early stuff that I experimented with on the channel, which wasn't a whole lot, to be clear. You're not missing a whole lot. I wish I had a really thick marker to go crazy, on some of this stuff, but I don't. And you know what? I've slowed down. My apologies. Let's try to speed this up and see what I can do. I don't know. I started having too much fun talking to all of you, and I forgot the reason for the season. Drawing. Drawing is the reason for the season. Yo! Super chat. Troopers holiday traditions. I read Superman. Hmm. I probably will like wrap this up pretty soon, by the way, because I am having trouble with the charging cable on the camera here. Hmm. Hold on. Hopefully that helps a little. But I might have to like I might lose this camera if I can't get it to charge properly. Let's see. Somebody told me they're getting a sequel to the Spider-Man Kills Mary. Yeah, yeah, there is a sequel to that coming. Horror Geek is great. I do love horror reviews. Have I ever worked with a brush? Absolutely. It's just a little more time consuming for me, but yeah. Superman 64, unplayable. What are my thoughts on the Inhumans? I might pick up Jay Lee's Inhumans book. The Jay Lee Inhuman book is really interesting. I wanna say Paul Jenkins might have written that. Anyway, yeah, um, it's good. It's interesting. DK64 was the first one he completed. That's a really interesting premise for a show. I would never feel confident enough in my gameplay, abilities to, uh, attempt anything close to that. Wow. I like games. I just the idea of trying to complete every one, wow. 'Cause some of them are just like Superman 64, that is a really, really hard game to beat, and it's not gonna be fun at all. It's like, is it doable on a technical level? But anyway. Wait. Hi, Chris. I left a super chat you missed? Oh my god, hold on, I'll find it, I'll find it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll find it. Thank you. Um, oh, here it is. I'm sorry, rebellious monkey. I just had my nose to the grindstone and I missed it. That's so dumb. Thank you. Merry Christmas Eve to you. Are comic book companies like Marvel and DC corrupted due to all the stories I heard from? I don't know who you heard it from, and I don't know what you mean by corrupted. I mean, are we talking like, business wise? Are we talking like, that they're like too like political one way or the other? I don't think so. I also don't care. I don't like I like some of these characters. I like some of the creators. Do I care about how the company does? I have no interest in like I don't want anybody to fail, but I'm also not like rooting for Disney or Warner Brothers Discovery to succeed above anybody else. I don't care about any of that. I don't care. Um, True story got Superman 64 for Christmas and beat it. Ugh. More power to them. That just sounds so difficult. That just does not sound like thanks. Thanks, Mike. I'm talking about somebody on Instagram. Nice haircut. Thank you. Yeah. I clean up nice every once in a while. Every once in a while. Um, yeah, this pen is dying, so I don't know that I can easily like finish. Yeah, this has had it. This has had it. I do I have any other brush pens? Let me switch to this and see if this is any better. Yeah, okay, this one's a little better. I might have a few minutes here with this pen. Yeah, give me a moment here. I think I can clean clean this up. I may just sort of like get this looking a little better. Nope, this one's had it too. Ah, had it going for a minute there. Let's see. How companies screwed up their creators like Jack Kirby, Alan Moore, and Steve Gerber's guys who created great stuff for their comics that actually. Um, that's an interesting question. Look, I don't think that Marvel or DC is any more corrupt than any other corporate entity out there. You're asking an interesting question, but it's one that like has a lot of context to it because different people are running the company at different times. Also, I it's hard to think of a company as immoral because a company is not a person. A company does not ha it's run by people, and those people, uh, you know, we can judge, but a company's only job is to make a profit. That's what it's supposed to do, and it will do that however it is allowed to do that, and if that means exploiting people, that's what it does. I am not gonna hold the company accountable for that. I will hold politicians and corporate leadership accountable for that. I will say the leadership should make the right decisions. I will say that the laws should protect people, but I'm not gonna get mad at a company for exploiting people. So I'm not am I mad at Marvel Comics for how they treated Jack Kirby? No, I'm not mad at Marvel Comics. Do I think that Stan Lee shoulders some blame? Yeah, but also probably some of the people that we've forgotten who are like, the president of the company, things like that, the owners of these companies. So it's a very complex question that has a lot of history. I mean, I could literally talk for hours trying to list all the people involved and where they fall. Um, like did DC do Alan Moore dirty? Yeah, but that wasn't because of somebody like, say, Paul Levitz, who always treated him fairly. New leadership made some poor decisions, things like that. Thank you, Anurag. I appreciate the support. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you, thank you. Sorry to get so serious on Christmas Eve, but, it was a super chat, and it's a fair question. It sincerely is a fair question. I don't know, let me turn that a little. I think I'm gonna, like, just not be able to complete this. There's so much to say in different angles and different perspectives, you know? Um, is the company corrupt? No, but you know what? You don't have to like it, and I also here's the thing, there are eras of each of these companies. I tend to not be much of a fan of a lot of what's coming out, but I also think that there's usually at least a few things that come out that I do like, and it's because of the creators involved, you know? Am I reading all the X-Men stuff right now? No, I haven't. It looked overwhelming to me. I wasn't as interested. But I do respect guys like Jerry Duggan. He's written some stuff that I do like. I like Al Ewing a lot. So maybe someday I'll go back and realize that this is good. Um, I don't know. That's not exactly the point I wanted to make. Let me think this through a little bit more. Um, I would say any era of comics has crap and good. And those balances may shift back and forth depending on your tastes. But there legit is always bad stuff and there's always good stuff. It's very easy to look back with nostalgia and like rose-tinted glasses and say, when I discovered comics, things were good. I still feel that. Like I look at stuff from the mid 80s through the like mid 90s. And that's my era. I just like a lot of that stuff, and people might be like, "You even like, you know, like Rob Liefeld back then?" I was like, "Yeah, as a kid, I definitely did." Um, you know, like Secret Wars was awesome. I just loved it. Um, it paved the way though to like, you know, event comic success. So like there's bad points to that too. And there were like books that were like really mid that are just but it's so easy to forget about the bad stuff a decade later, 2 decades later. It's really easy to forget about the bad stuff and just remember the good. And so you look back with nostalgia and you're like, "That era seemed to, like, just have banger after banger after banger." And it's like, in some ways, yes, but it probably also had crap that it's just easy you forget the bad stuff and you forget the mid-tier stuff, like, even faster. The stuff that's, like, not offensively bad, not spectacular. You forget that really fast. So, you know, I think it's just worth keeping in mind that no matter where your tastes lie, you know, like, you could say like, "Oh my god," you know, "I think that Marvel is pumping out crap right now." I get so many comments like that on my videos. They're like, "Wow, this is better than what, you know, Marvel or DC or whoever puts out now." And I'm like, "I don't think that that's exactly the case. At least it's not what I'm arguing." There was good stuff back then that I love, but there's good stuff that's coming out now too. I just don't cover as much new stuff because I wanna have some perspective on a lot of it. You know, I made an episode about Berserk. Berserk is unfinished. The creator died, and that may just end terribly, completely unsatisfying, in which case my video retroactively will probably seem stupid, you know, me praising it to high heavens. Uh, you know, there's stuff that's coming out, like, you know, I don't know. I'll just make something up so that I'm not like, you know, throwing a real person under the bus. But like, let's just say there's a comic called Doctor Strong, and it's something that we all universally like. Uh, and I make a video just like praising the creator to as high as I can. And then it comes out that creator did like some horrible stuff to kids. I'm gonna feel terrible about that. Um, So, sometimes I do less current stuff personally. I might not be super old, but I do less of that just because I wanna also have some perspective and go like, "It seems great to me now. Is it gonna hold up?" Some of it will, I think. You know, I look at Daniel Warren Johnson's stuff, I love it. I love it. I think that he's a really great creator, um, and I think it will stand the test of time. Sometimes you can tell, like, that stuff will stand the test of time, and sometimes you're like, "Maybe, maybe not." I don't know. I've got a lot of I know I'm bouncing all over the place. I've had a little coffee. I haven't had any dinner, so I'm probably not being super focused with my thoughts. You're kind to listen to me. What's my favorite single issue comic? Oh, I've never really even tried to nail something like that down, to be honest, Tim Dog. That's a really tough question. You know what? I said Doctor Strong off the top of my head, but you know what? There was a Marvel hero called Doctor Strong, but not published by Marvel Comics. It was in a movie, a terrible movie. Called The Ambulance, and it starred Eric Roberts as a Marvel Comics artist who starts tracking down, uh, a an evil ambulance, where people are abducting people and harvesting their organs. So the ambulance isn't evil, it's the people that are, like, running it, and he drew Doctor Strong. It co-stars Stan Lee. It was not pu by Marvel Comics. They just decided to make the main hero a Marvel Comics artist. It's ridiculous. It sounds like you'll dig these videos, Chris. Search "beating every N64 game" and you'll be there. Thank you for the recommendation. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for, like, being such a great supporter, Joe Dent. I really appreciate that. That's really, really kind of you. Doctor Strong versus Doctor Bong. No matter who wins, we lose. When Doctor Strong switched to podiatry, the whole series fell off. Yeah. The ambulance was so fun when he had Stan Lee. Yeah. Lately, I've been looking up, horror movies, or thriller at least, that star comic book artists as the protagonist. Not actual, comic book artists, but, like, the protagonist is, a cartoonist of some sort. So not like comedy or action or drama. No, I'm only talking horror or thriller. We've got The Hand with Michael Caine. Michael Caine. His hand gets cut off, so he can't draw cartoons anymore, comic books, and, the hand becomes evil, and kills people. We've got The Ambulance that I just talked about with Eric Roberts. We've got Cellar Dweller. There's one where Courtney Cox is a comic book artist, and she's oh my god, there's a bunch. I hated Cool World. I didn't like that one at all. I didn't like Cool World at all. Anyway, I'm gonna take off because I don't think I can quite finish this. We'll just say that this is where the panel crops, right? We'll just say that the panel crops like this. This is Batman throwing a batarang and, breaking, Mr. Freeze's whatchamacallit, helmet. So here, we'll go, mm, this would be the panel, and it looks a little better as soon as I block that out, doesn't it? As soon as you're like, "Oh, wait, that makes some sense." Uh, Batman here. Looks a little bit more like not as bad as, like, an unfinished thing without anything down here, right? It looks a little better to do that. If I had more time, just do some stuff with, like, a lot of blacks. Uh, yeah, well, I can't do it. I don't have time. I don't have time. It'll take forever. Um, I need dinner. I need dinner, and you guys need to start wrapping those presents. Wrap those presents for your family. What are you thinking? Mike, it sounds like you need to do an episode on fictitious comic creators if you haven't already. Merry Christmas, heading to bed. Merry Christmas, Mike. Mike is an incredibly talented artist, by the way. Great guy, great guy. I've known Mike online for oh my god, we've known each other probably over 20 years, Mike. That's that's amazing. Um, that is a fun idea. I am going to work on finishing, the last comic tropes video of 2023, which will be, um, my personal top 10 comics of 2023. That's always a tough list to put together. And the fun of it isn't necessarily just doing 10 because, people make top 10, but it's like 10 is arbitrary in some regards, but it means I'm cutting stuff out. I have to focus and narrow it down, because there's always a lot of comics that come out in every year, that are good. And, yeah, this is I think I've got my list down to, like, maybe 15, and I need to narrow that down to 10. So some of them I'll just call, what do you call it? I'll probably call them, honorable mentions or something like that. Ice-T and Johnny, talking about Johnny Mnemonic and Henry Rollins. Why are we talking about Johnny Mnemonic all of a sudden? I don't know. But, so there's the little sketch, the Christmas sketch. Mr. Freeze, right? He's Wintery based. If I had my pen, and I cannot find where I must have, like, taken it away from my art room or something, but if I had my whiteout pen, boop, 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 snowflakes all over, boop, 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 and it would look so good, especially if I really blacked out a lot of this stuff, like, made most of this cape black, some more shadow effects on the legs and this arm, and then like, actually give this some perspective, have, like, an alleyway here, maybe some steam coming out and, like, just black bricks or something, but then pop, 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 lots of little, snowflakes, that would look good. I think that I've got an idea for how I could have made it look good, but I was just trying to draw something fast, show people what it looks like. A lot of times, I'll ink on this show, but I'll have, like, sketch something out that I think looks good. This time I was like, "Hey, if I just go completely from scratch and try to go fast, what do we end up with?" It's okay. It's okay. Uh, so yeah, gonna work on my top 10 list and make some dinner. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you so much for your support throughout, this past year, 2023. It's been a tough year in some ways. It's been a great year in other ways, but, you guys have all helped make my year a lot brighter, and, I certainly wish you a happy holiday season. I sincerely do. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Happy New Year, and, you will see me soon. I'm gonna do a live show here Tuesday, 5 PM, just talking about the news, and you'll see a Comic Tropes episode soon, top 10 of the year. So, take care, everybody. Keep reading comics.